He looked rattled and confused the entire evening, and a lot of it had to do with Will Muschamp, the defensive coordinator from LSU, put together a great package, and I think confused and out-hustled Oklahoma in the trenches. LSU's defensive line, with old 84 included, great game.
Couple of picks for the Heisman Trophy winner, 5 sacks, and you're right, a lot of wobbly balls. They got in his face. He was beat up, limping around at the end of the game, showed some courage, but not nearly enough against that LSU defense. And Justin Vincent, a true freshman, Louisiana product, never quite got to play a high school championship game in this place, comes in here in college and wins the MVP of the BCS championship game, but USC can call itself national champions too. We'll visit with Nick Saban a little bit later on in the show. SportsCenter back in the Big Easy, where there was nothing easy about LSU's first national championship in 43 years. Nick Saban and the Tigers do it mainly with defense. A smothering defensive performance against Oklahoma, hold them to 154 yards, sacked the Heisman Trophy winner 5 times, have a couple of interceptions, and then have to hang on for dear life before a sack seals it on Oklahoma's final drive.
It was tough. I mean, their crowd started getting into it, and we were looking at each other like, man, come on, y'all, let's just gain our composure back and let's just make some plays.
I had to back man-to-man, and Coach always say, green dog him, let me add on in the pressure if he blocked, and that's what he did, and I just added on, and I was able to get free and get a sack on the quarterback.
All I know is there's a trophy that will be presented to us right up there, and that makes me pretty happy, so as long as we get half of it, that's fine with me.
I wanted it. I was hungry. My team was hungry. You know what I'm saying? People going to start respecting LSU. If you don't, we're just going to hit you in your mouth.
What were you thinking that last drive?
Sorry?
Their last drive.
Just get off as fast as I can and try to corrupt the Heisman winner.
You know, they got great athletes all over the field, and they executed well tonight. And you know, they out-executed us, and we didn't execute through most of the night. So you got to give them their credit.
In the end, we weren't quite good enough to get it done, and LSU made the plays in the end that made the difference to win.
5 sacks against White. You can see third down conversions, 4 of 15. The Sooners were also just 1 of 3 on fourth down, 154 yards. You got to go back a long way to think about a more smothering, dominant defensive performance in a championship-type bowl game. And the winning coach here has to be feeling great about that as a defensive guy, to see a group of guys that you coached go out there and just dominate Oklahoma like that. Well done.
Well, I think we got great team chemistry. We have great resiliency on defense, but the 2 corners can cover and the front guys can rush and affect the quarterback. And the combination of those 2 things have worked very well for us all year long.
You guys said you had to dig deep. You had guys with IVs on the field late as Oklahoma's marching for perhaps try to tie the game. It
was really warm, in the second half. This place really heated up, and we had a lot of guys have a lot of problems with heat, and we had 4 guys get IVs on defense. We were running them in and out.
Coach, can you talk about the philosophy of your defense all year long? We talked about LSU, pressure, man coverage. You came into this game, had a variety of things. You did have some blitzes, but you played a lot more zone than you've played up to any point in this season.
Well, what they did in the game is they max protected a lot. They motioned the tight end over and they had slid the protection. So when we pressured early, we didn't get the kind of pressure that we wanted. So we covered more in the game and got a little better rush with just 4 guys rushing.
Nick, congratulations. I noticed on the team and also on your sleeve there, JB. What's that stand for?
Jeff Boss was our equipment man at LSU for 25 years, and he's probably the most selfless person I've ever met in terms of helping other people and doing for players for years and years and years. And he had cancer and died this season, and the players kind of dedicated this season to him.
Wow, what a great story.
To win a national championship, the first in more than 4 decades for this school, to do it in this state, in this environment. There were some challenges, getting your team ready for this game, but it sure paid off once you got here and kicked it off. The environment was incredible in here.
Well, you know what? I was really proud of our players to be able to deal with what I call the clutter, because we could not go out of the hotel without having 2,000 or 3,000 people, in the street. And it was great to have that kind of enthusiasm and that kind of following. But tonight, the crowd did have an effect on the game, and I think it helped us pull it out.
Can you talk about Matt Mock, the offense, and what you guys tried to accomplish? Because I thought, here's a guy that's taken some lumps, and this year came together, last 7 games, played great football, and tonight, times scrambling, other times making some big throws. You talk about his performance?
Well, Matt has played extremely well down the stretch for us, and I think that's probably the big reason that we're here. We've had a lot more balance in our offense, and he's contributed to that tremendously. But, tonight Oklahoma's defense played fantastic football as well. We were fortunate to have a couple good drives and a couple big plays, and Matt made some good throws. It was a real critical interception for us, though, when we threw it, and they got the ball that gave them 14 because we needed 3 more points to make it a 3-score game.
Yep.
We get a 30-yard penalty on the field goal before, and we're in field goal range and throw an interception. They run it back 49 yards and put themselves in scoring position. So that was a tough play in the game, but Matt's played tremendously for us all year long.
From a coach's standpoint, I was really impressed with your substitutions by formations against their personnel. Tell me a little bit about that.
We match up everything. I mean, we've done it all year long. The players get used to it. You notice we don't even get in a huddle on defense. Everybody knows the signals. And we just said, hey, when we play a no-huddle team, we got to do this, so why don't we just do it all the time? But we don't have time to get in the huddle because we're subbing all the time. If they have 3 wideouts in there, we always play 5 defensive backs. If they have 4, we always play 6. And, we can't practice everything with different personnel groups, so that's the way we do it, and I think it's more effective for us.
Oh, it was very good.
Do you want USC? We talked to Pete Carroll post-game. Would you like to take on the Trojans next week?
Well, I got a fax from somebody from the United Way that had the game all set up if we would just agree to play and give all the money to charity. So
we're a little late for that one.
We're off for that.
Forget about that.
I tell you what, our team, I'm proud of our team. They did what they could do. We won the football game today, and whatever people decide, they decide, and we'll be very accepting of it.
Well, congratulations on at least your piece of the trophy and a nice raise, $1 billion for next year. It's been well chronicled, but hey, that's not bad either.
Yeah, well, that was their idea. It wasn't mine.
Take it.
Whatever it is, don't argue with it. And we'll have more on the split national titles later on SportsCenter.